Hi, my name is Kelly. I'm the flute specialist here at Milano Music, and today I'll be showing you how to use the care kit to properly clean your flute. The first thing I'm going to talk about is how to properly swab out your flute. So you're going to take your swab and feed it through the eye of your cleaning rod. So there's two different cleaning rods that you can have when you get your flute. You can either have a metal one or a wooden one. If it's a wooden one, you can just feed it right through the flute. If it's through a metal one, you're going to feed it through the eye just like the wooden one. And you're going to wrap it around the metal, so that way when you feed it through the flute, the metal doesn't scrape up against the inside of the flute. So you want to use the swab after every use of playing, and you're going to put your flute away. So I like to take my body of the flute first, and you just feed it through the instrument. And remember, if it's a metal one, you want to keep it wrapped around. So you just feed it through, and I would maybe do that 1 or 2 times. And then when you go to the head joint, you want to take the top little extra of the piece and wrap it around the top, so that way the end of it doesn't hit the top of the inside of the head joint. So then you're going to feed it through the head joint, and then you're just going to twist it around just to make sure you get all that moisture out. And then you're going to take your foot joint, and same thing as the body, you're just going to feed it through twice. So it's the same thing when you're taking your wooden one or plastic. So you just feed it through the eye at the top, almost like a thread with a needle. And for this one, you don't have to wrap it around, but if you want to, that's fine as well. And just as the same as the metal one, you'll feed it through about 2 or 3 times. So at the top of every flute rod will be this line, and the line is to see if your cork is at the right alignment. And actually at the top of every single head joint, there's a cork up here. So what you're going to do is take the ends of the flute rod, insert it to your head joint, and for that line, it should be lined up exactly in the middle of the embouchure hole. So you can see whether or not your cork is in the right spot. If it's a little bit off, that's okay, but if it's drastically off, you want to take it in to get it fixed. So the next thing that we're going to do is wipe down the flute. So when you're wiping down the head joint, you want to watch going over the embouchure cut, as the embouchure cut is cut precisely, and so you want to avoid wiping right over that. So you just want to wipe right around the edges to get it nice and clean, and then you can wipe down the rest of the flute. And the same thing when it comes to the body of the flute, you want to avoid going in circles on the keys, so you just want to wipe down, and that way it won't affect the pads too much. And then you can just polish down the rest of the flute to get your fingerprints off and any other dust. So the next item in your care kit will be this brush key. Not all of our care kits have these. If you don't have one, don't worry about it, but if you do, it's sometimes nice to use. So with the key brush, it'll have 2 different ends. For this top part, you're going to want to use it to clean out all the dust and debris that you'll have after build-up for some time. You don't have to use it after every use, just a few times a year is fine. So you want to gently use it in between the keys. Sometimes you'll see some dust there, and so you can use that just to wipe it down. The other end is to use for if your flute tarnishes. So again, use it very, very gently, just to use it right up against the tarnishing point. So the next item would be our care card that comes in your care kit, and it goes over how to swab out the flute and some other general information, like don't set your flute on your desk or on your music stand or your chair. And it just has some little more information about that to kind of help you take care of your flute. So the last item in your care kit will be this practice log. So if your teacher asks you to keep track of your practice, you can use that with this handy dandy card, and it comes with a little pencil, so then you can keep track of that as well. When storing your items such as the polishing cloth and the swab, make sure not to keep it inside of the case on the flute. That way when you close the instrument, that the swab and the polishing cloth will not press down on the keys. So you can store the polishing cloth somewhere else, and I would recommend tying the swab on the outside of your handle. That way, 1, it can dry properly, and 2, it also makes it handy to know, like, that's my instrument case, because you can recognize the certain color swab you have. If you have any questions about taking care of your instrument, feel free to give us a call at Milano's. Our phone number is 480-827-1111.